polls, often wrong, have been wrong multiple times before, but in South Australia, they point to a one-term government for the marshmallow. Now, Stephen Marshall and the Liberal Party, the vote hasn't really changed since they won the last election. But remember, South Australia Best, SA Best, Nick Xenophon's party was running. And while the assumptions were that he would make a huge impact in the number of seats, he didn't. But the number of people who didn't either vote Labor or Liberal was 22%. Now, that's dropping way down. A huge chunk of that going back to Labor. So your two-party preferred right now is Labor 53 and the Liberal Party at 47. The marshmallow is not the preferred premier. In fact, the opposition leader is. And I've got to say, apart from anything else, the policy that I think does actually move votes is things like the Adelaide 500. Now, you know that I'm all in on supercars, but this was an iconic South Australian and Adelaide event that for whatever reason the oh-so-woke Marshall decided, no, we won't have those noisy petrol cars. We're going to bid for the Formula E. Well, good luck with that, because the people who grew up either buying things from the Holden factory or certainly going to the Grand Prix way back when, or going for decades to the subsequent event being in the streets of Adelaide as the first round, they want it back. And Labor is saying up front, we will put it back. We'll have it in December. It's one of those ones, again, where, you know, David Penberthy writes about this today, Rose, is one of those issues that isn't about cost of living, isn't about anything else, but it's one of those things that people just had in their calendar. They expected that it would be part of their fibre. It got taken away. Well, guess what? They want it back. What about the marshmallow maybe being a one-termer?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's looking good for Labor in South Australia. You know, obviously, we talked before about polls. Try and be, you know, extremely kind of cautious, being burnt too many times. But Peter Malinauskas is doing such a great job. I mean, it's not just the cars, as you said. I mean, he's also got a real plan for ramping. That's a huge problem in South Australia. I mean, a major problem. People don't realise that you've got people in the back of ambulances for hours at South Australian hospitals. He's got a plan for that. I mean, I think the Liberals have really, you know, picked this basketball stadium. That just does not seem to have caught fire at all. So I think it's looking really good. I mean, my personal favourite Labor policy was the Adelaide Aquatic Centre redevelopment, where Peter Malinauskas got his shirt off for the announcement. I think that's a real vote winner.
Will Albo be doing that? Is this the secret one? Tops off for votes? Let's see what happens.
Maybe it's only Malley that can pull that off. But look, they have got some good issues and they're prosecuting them well. So,
but Campbell, again, this scenario where state elections are all about lots of things, and if they do go down, it'll all be the federal government's fault. BS. Marshmallow is the problem in South Australia. That is, if they're down, it's because of marshmallow.
Hey, look, you've already said it, mate. Woke, soft, you know, terrible response to COVID, you know, sort of applauded by those who've loved the COVID mania, but anybody else who's trying to run a business, etc. Canel Tonkin is the Lib Dems lead Senate candidate, but he's also working hard to have a bit of a go at some of the key seats down there for the Lib Dems in the state campaign. It'll be an interesting trial run and help motivate our people. But I think at the end of the day, what we're hearing is a lot of dissatisfied Liberal Party people. Liberal Party donors have had enough, who feel betrayed. For example, the Marshall government have made changes to land tax in the way that it's assessed. So, you know, they essentially, I can't go into the detail, but it essentially means that it's at odds with other states and makes it a real disincentive to then invest in South Australia if you want to be, you know, for example, like I am in a property fund. And so I know that's a big issue down there. So, look, they actually haven't differentiated themselves from Labor, and I think they're going to pay the price.
Well, Marshmallow, if you want to save your ass, save the Adelaide 500. Let's get a unity ticket on that regardless of what happens in the next little while. Yes, I say it because I'm a rev head, but also because guess what? The little people actually like it. Normal people love seeing that race each and every year. You get it if there's a change of government. Michael Croker, Rose Jackson and Campbell Newman, one and all, thank you very much. Do appreciate it. We'll talk to you all again very soon.